Work in silence. Let success make the noise. We live in a world where people rush to share every idea, every dream, every plan on social media and with friends before it has even taken its first step. But success rarely comes to those who announce it too soon. Success favors those who quietly prepare, who build in the shadows, and who let their results make the noise. Today, I want to talk about the power of working in silence and why keeping your plans to yourself can be one of the smartest moves you'll ever make. There is a quiet strength that lives in silence, a strength that most people underestimate because in today's world, noise often masquerades as progress. Everywhere you look, people are eager to announce their every plan, every move, every idea before it has even taken its first step. They believe that by speaking it into existence, the dream somehow becomes stronger. But the reality is often the opposite. Too much talking too soon drains the very energy you need to turn that dream into reality. Think about it. When you share your plans with everyone, you open the door for opinions, judgments, and unsolicited advice that slowly chips away at your focus. Suddenly, what was once your private vision becomes a public topic. And with that comes expectations, pressure, and sometimes even envy. The excitement that once fueled you can start to fade under the weight of other people's thoughts. Silence, on the other hand, acts like a shield. It protects the fragile seed of your dream while it is still growing. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. If you dig it up every day to show people how it's doing, it will never take root, never grow strong enough to withstand the wind. Your dreams are no different. They need time, care, and quiet nurturing before they are ready to face the world. When you keep your plans to yourself, you give them the protection they need from doubt, from negativity, and from the unnecessary noise that can kill an idea before it even begins. We often underestimate how powerful other people's words can be. A single negative comment can echo in your mind for weeks. Someone might tell you your plan will never work, and even if you try to ignore it, their voice plays in the back of your head every time you take a step forward. That doubt slowly drains your energy, your motivation, your belief in yourself. This is why silence is so important. It keeps those voices out until you are strong enough, prepared enough, and confident enough to handle them. There is also another truth about energy that people rarely talk about. Talking too much about what you want to do can trick your brain into feeling like you've already accomplished something. Psychologists call it premature sense of completion. The moment you tell the world your goals, you get a small taste of validation from their reactions. People applaud, they praise you, they get excited for you. And that can make you feel like you've already done something big when in reality, nothing has even started. That illusion robs you of the hunger you need to actually chase the dream. By staying silent, you keep that fire alive inside you. You stay hungry, you stay driven. You have no one to impress, no one to answer to, no audience waiting for results. You only have the work itself, and that keeps you focused on what truly matters. And then there is the matter of emotional energy. Pursuing any dream takes courage, resilience, and determination. You will face setbacks. You will have moments where nothing seems to work. If you have already announced your plans to everyone, those moments become even heavier because now you feel the weight of their eyes watching you struggle. Some might secretly hope you fail. Others might keep asking for updates, adding pressure when you are already battling self-doubt inside. But when you work in silence, you carry only your own expectations, not the world's. You are free to fall, free to learn, free to rise again without feeling like you are performing on a stage. Silence creates a safe space for your dreams to grow, for your energy to be used wisely, for your passion to stay alive. It keeps the journey pure, just you, your vision, and the work it takes to bring it to life. And that, more than anything, is what protects your energy from being scattered in a world that loves to pull people in every direction. There is something undeniably powerful about a person who doesn't talk much but delivers beyond expectations. In a world overflowing with noise, where everyone seems eager to announce their next big move, the loudest voice rarely belongs to the most successful person. Success doesn't need a megaphone. It doesn't need constant reminders or promises. It simply needs results. Because when the results arrive, they speak for you in a language the world cannot ignore. People forget what you say you're going to do, but they will never forget what you actually do. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone talk endlessly about a dream, a plan or goal, only for nothing to ever come out of it. At first, their words may sound inspiring, their passion may feel real, but over time, when nothing materializes, people stop listening. Words lose their weight when there is no action to back them up. On the other hand, when someone works quietly, without promises, without drama, and then shows up one day with undeniable results, the world pays attention. And here's why this matters so much. When you talk too much about what you're going to do, you give people the chance to form expectations. They start measuring you not by what you've done, but by what you said you would do. Every delay, every obstacle, every moment of doubt becomes public knowledge, and people begin to question your capability before you've even had a fair chance to prove yourself. But when you keep quiet, when you focus all your energy on doing rather than announcing, you eliminate all that unnecessary pressure. You give yourself room to grow, to experiment, to fail and rise again, all without the weight of an audience watching your every move. Results also carry a power that words simply cannot match. A promise might inspire for a moment, but a result inspires for a lifetime. When people see proof, real undeniable proof, they can no longer dismiss your dream as wishful thinking. Your success becomes the evidence that speaks louder than any explanation, louder than any excuse, louder than any announcement you could have made. Consider this: when a person tells the world, "I'm going to start a business," reactions are mixed. Some people cheer, some doubt, some secretly hope for failure, and some simply don't care because they've heard it all before. But when that same person works in silence, fights through the challenges, and finally opens the doors to a successful business without ever seeking validation along the way, the story changes. People respect what they can see. They admire the courage it took to stay silent, to put in the work when no one was watching, to build something real before ever speaking about it. And here's the beauty of letting results speak. They silence critics faster than any argument ever could. Doters thrive when you give them promises, because promises give them time to question, to criticize, to tear apart something that doesn't exist yet. But when you present results, there is nothing left to debate. Results leave no room for opinions. They are facts. They are real. They are the ultimate response to every doubt, every rumor, every critic who thought you couldn't do it. This is why you must understand the power of working silently and letting your actions be the loudest thing about you. When you show up with results instead of promises, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to defend your dream. Your success stands on its own, speaking for you in ways words never could. One of the biggest mistakes people make when chasing a dream is revealing it too soon. The moment you tell the world what you plan to do, you open the door to judgment. Judgment that often comes before you have even taken your first real step. And this early judgment can be more damaging than most people realize. When you speak too soon, you give others the chance to dissect your ideas, question your abilities, and place doubts in your mind before your vision has had the chance to grow strong enough to survive criticism. The truth is, most dreams begin in a very fragile state. They start as a small spark, an idea that excites you, a vision that keeps you awake at night, a goal that makes your heart beat faster. But at this stage, it is still vulnerable. Like a young plant just breaking through the soil, it needs time to grow roots before it can handle the wind and the storms. If you expose it too early, if you let too many people see it before it is ready, the harsh winds of judgment can destroy it before it even gets the chance to bloom. Think about how people react when you share a dream that seems too big or too bold. Some will laugh. Some will tell you it's impossible. Others will remind you of your past failures as if your future is chained to them. Even well-meaning friends and family, out of fear or misunderstanding, might say things like, "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Or, "Maybe you should think smaller." And here's the danger: even if you try to ignore those words, they echo in the back of your mind when times get hard. They add weight to your doubts. They make you question yourself at the very moment you need confidence the most. When you keep your plans to yourself, you protect yourself from this unnecessary negativity. You give yourself the freedom to dream without interference, to plan without pressure, to make mistakes without feeling like the whole world is watching. Silence allows you to stay focused on the work rather than on people's opinions. It gives you the mental and emotional space to build strength before you face the world's criticism. Because let's be honest, The world loves to judge what it does not understand, and it loves to criticize what has not yet succeeded. And judgment doesn't just come from strangers or critics. Sometimes it comes from people close to you who cannot see what you see. Maybe they think they are being practical by warning you of the risks. Maybe they believe they are protecting you from failure. But the problem is, their judgment comes from their perspective, not yours. They are looking at your dream through the lens of their fears, their limitations, their experiences, not your potential. And if you are not careful, their words can become chains that hold you back from even trying. That is why protecting your dream in its early stages is so important. It is not about secrecy for the sake of secrecy. It is about giving your idea time to grow stronger before exposing it to a world that might not understand it yet. When you avoid early judgment, you give yourself the gift of clarity. You allow your actions to take shape without the weight of outside opinions slowing you down. You stay free from unnecessary doubts and free from the pressure to explain yourself before there is even anything to show. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. When you gain it, everything feels easier. Progress comes faster, confidence grows stronger, and doors start opening that once seemed locked. But here's what many people fail to realize: momentum needs privacy to grow. It needs a space where it can develop without interruptions, without outside voices trying to speed it up or slow it down, and without the constant distractions that come when too many people are watching your every move. When you keep your plans private, you give momentum the room it needs to build quietly and steadily until nothing can stop it. Think about how momentum actually works. It never starts big. It begins slowly, almost invisibly, with small steps that often look insignificant to outsiders. At the start, there might be no obvious results to show, no major wins to celebrate, no signs of success to prove you are on the right path. But behind the scenes, something important is happening. You are laying the foundation, developing the discipline, and learning the lessons that will later fuel bigger breakthroughs. If you expose this stage too soon by telling everyone what you're doing, you risk being judged on unfinished work. People might question why it's taking so long, why the results aren't bigger, why you haven't achieved everything yet. Their impatience and opinions can distract you, discourage you, and even make you feel like you are failing before you've had enough time to truly start. Working in private protects you from this pressure. It allows you to focus entirely on the process instead of the performance. You don't feel the need to impress anyone or meet anyone's expectations. You don't waste energy explaining yourself or defending your decisions. Instead, you can put all your energy into moving forward, one step at a time, without worrying about whether people approve or understand. And this freedom is what creates real momentum. Because when there is no audience to satisfy, you are free to make mistakes, learn, adjust, and grow as much as you need to without fear of judgment. Momentum also grows faster when there is consistency, and consistency thrives in private. Public announcements often create pressure to deliver quick results, to show something impressive before you are ready, which can make you rush the process and cut corners. But when you work in silence, you can focus on doing things right rather than doing them fast. You can stick to your plan, build strong habits, and stay consistent without the weight of other people's timelines on your back. And slowly, all those small, private efforts begin to compound. The skills you build in the dark, the discipline you develop when no one is watching, the sacrifices you make quietly, they all start to add up, creating unstoppable momentum that will later carry you forward in ways you cannot even imagine right now. And there is another advantage to building momentum privately. It keeps you mentally strong. Public attention, even well-meaning attention, can become a distraction. Compliments can make you relax too soon. Criticism can make you doubt yourself too much. But when you stay private, you avoid both extremes. You learn to rely on your own inner drive instead of outside validation. You stay focused on progress rather than applause. You work for the sake of the goal itself, not for the sake of what others might think of it. This inner focus becomes your greatest strength because it keeps you moving forward even when no one else believes in you, even when results take longer than expected, even when the journey feels lonely. Pressure is something everyone feels when chasing a dream, but not everyone knows how to handle it. For some, pressure becomes a weight that crushes their motivation and fills them with doubt. For others, it becomes the spark that lights a fire within them, pushing them to achieve things they never thought possible. The difference lies in how you approach it. And one of the most powerful ways to transform pressure into power is by working in silence, away from unnecessary noise, away from public expectations, away from the constant need to prove yourself before you are even ready. When you announce your plans too soon, you immediately put yourself under a spotlight. Suddenly, people are watching, they want updates, they expect results. Some are rooting for you to succeed, but many are waiting for you to fail. Every delay, every setback, every moment of uncertainty becomes magnified because now you feel like you're performing on a stage instead of building a dream in private. This kind of pressure often leads people to make mistakes, to rush through the process, or worse, to give up entirely because they feel like they've let everyone down. But when you work silently, the pressure changes. It no longer comes from the outside world, it comes from within. And that kind of pressure can be turned into power. Internal pressure is different because it is driven by your own standards, your own commitment, your own vision of what you want to achieve. It's not about impressing anyone else. It's about living up to the promise you made to yourself. The dream that matters to you more than anyone else's opinion ever could. This internal pressure is healthy because it sharpens your focus and pushes you to give your best without the distraction of outside voices questioning your every move. Think about athletes training for a competition. The ones who perform best on the big day are not the ones who spent months talking about how great they would be. They are the ones who train quietly, away from cameras, away from crowds, facing their own doubts, sweating through the hard days when no one was cheering for them. They turn the pressure of the upcoming competition into power by preparing in silence, by focusing on the work instead of the noise, by letting the weight of their own expectations shape them into something stronger, rather than letting public attention break them down. This is what working in silence gives you, the ability to control the pressure so it works for you instead of against you. Without the eyes of the world on you, you can take risks without fear of humiliation. You can fail privately, learn from your mistakes, and come back stronger without feeling like everyone is keeping score. The pressure you feel comes only from your desire to improve, to grow, to turn your vision into reality. And that kind of pressure fuels progress instead of killing it. And here's the powerful part. When you finally step into the light after working silently, the world will only see the strength, the confidence, the success that was built under that internal pressure. They won't see the struggles, the failures, the late nights, or the doubts you overcame. They will only see the power that came from carrying that pressure on your own shoulders and turning it into unstoppable momentum. There is something undeniably powerful about the element of surprise when it comes to success. In a world where everyone is constantly talking about what they are going to do, how big their plans are, or how they will soon achieve something great, the person who works quietly and then appears out of nowhere with undeniable results captures everyone's attention in a way that endless talking never could. The surprise element carries a kind of magic because it removes all the noise, all the predictions, all the premature opinions about what you might or might not achieve, and leaves people stunned by what you have already accomplished. When you announce your plans too early, people begin to create expectations in their minds. Some might expect too much too soon and become disappointed when progress takes time. Others might expect very little and look down on you before you even begin. And then there are those who quietly wait for you to fail so they can say, "I knew it wouldn't work." By the time you actually take action, so many opinions have already been formed that your journey feels like a performance for an audience rather than a personal mission you are building for yourself. But when you keep quiet, when you refuse to give people the script in advance, you take back all the power. No one knows what you are building. No one knows how far you have come. No one knows when you are about to rise. And then one day, without warning, you step forward with something so real, so undeniable, so powerful that it leaves everyone speechless. That moment of surprise creates an impact far greater than anything words could have created. People may ignore promises, but they cannot ignore proof. The element of surprise also protects you from the energy of doubters and critics while you are still building. Because here is the truth. The more people know about your plans, the more opinions they have, and not all of them are helpful. Some will question you. Some will discourage you. Some will even hope you fail because your ambition reminds them of what they never tried to do themselves. Their negativity can weigh you down, even if you try to stay strong. But when no one knows what you are working on, you stay free from all that. You work with a clear mind, a focused heart, and no outside voices interfering with your progress. And when success finally comes, it arrives with an impact that cannot be ignored. People see the results first before they even knew there was a plan behind it. That shock factor makes your achievement memorable because it feels so unexpected. You didn't ask for their belief. You didn't demand their applause. You didn't beg for their approval. You simply showed up one day with proof so solid that it silenced every doubt before it was even spoken. The surprise element also teaches you a valuable lesson about humility. When you stay silent while building, you learn to value the process rather than the attention. You focus on becoming the person capable of achieving the dream instead of chasing applause along the way. And when success comes, it speaks for itself in a way that doesn't need arrogance or explanations, because the results are already there for the world to see. One of the most liberating lessons you will ever learn on the path to success is the journey is more about who you become than about who is watching. Too often, people chase their dreams with one eye on the goal and the other eye on the audience, hoping for validation, applause, or recognition at every step. They want people to notice their hard work, to admire their sacrifices, to cheer them on so they can feel like they are making progress. But here's the hard truth. Outer approval is fragile. It comes and goes. It can lift you up one day and disappear the next. If your sense of purpose depends on other people's approval, you will constantly feel like you are losing control of your own life. That is why working in silence has such deep power. It shifts your focus inward, toward growth rather than validation. When no one is watching, when no one knows what you are building, you are forced to rely on your own discipline instead of outside encouragement. You learn to show up for yourself, not for the applause. You learn to stay committed to the dream even when there are no compliments, no recognition, no one telling you that you are doing well. And that kind of self-driven commitment is what separates those who finish the race from those who quit when the cheers stop coming. Inner growth also gives you strength that outer approval never can. Because here is the thing about chasing likes, praise, or applause. It can become addictive. You start shaping your actions not around what is right or necessary for your dream, but around what will get the most attention. And slowly, without realizing it, you start building for them instead of for you. Your dreams lose their authenticity because they are no longer about what truly matters to you. They are about pleasing an audience that might not even care tomorrow. But when you focus on inner growth, everything changes. You start measuring progress not by who notices, but by how much stronger, wiser, and more capable you have become since the day you started. You celebrate private victories that no one else even sees. The nights you pushed through exhaustion, the times you refused to quit when failure felt overwhelming, the moments you chose discipline over comfort. These small, invisible wins build the kind of character and resilience that last far longer than the temporary approval of others. And then something powerful happens when success finally comes. You are not the same person who started the journey. You are stronger, humbler, wiser. You understand the value of hard work, the importance of focus, the strength of perseverance. Success no longer defines you. It simply reflects the person you have become through the process. That is the real reward, knowing that you grew into someone who didn't just chase a dream, but became the kind of person capable of living it fully. So stop looking outward for constant approval. Stop waiting for applause to feel like you're making progress. The world doesn't need more people chasing attention. It needs more people becoming the best version of themselves quietly, consistently, and with unshakable focus. Work in silence, grow in silence, transform in silence. And when the time comes, let your success speak loudly. Not just through what you achieved, but through the person you became along the way. Because in the end, the goal was never just to build the dream. The goal was to build yourself.